The entire dynasty of the Pharaoh rule in Egypt lasted for thousands of years. The Pharaoh rule was actually governed by the false messiah, Dajjal himself. All the pharaohs were worshippers of Dajjal directly. This we get to know from the hieroglyphics paintings excavated from those areas dating back to those times, and the prominent symbol which we see everywhere in those paintings is the one eye, to show that Dajjal was there. The symbol of the one eye is connected to one of their gods, who is a sun god, and his name is Horus. The sign of Dajjal have been showing up periodically throughout the ages. The major signs of Dajjal is the one eye. This is a symbol of Dajjal. Wherever a person sees the one eye, the person must know that this is the sign of the Dajjal's presence in that era, country, or period of time. I invited Rabbi Mizrahi to Islam, or at least try and get him to stop what he's doing. I was getting worried that he was preaching Kabbalah more than Judaism. According to Rabbi, Jews must believe in reincarnation, which is against Judaism. According to Rabbi, they must do whatever it takes, even through evil methods, to harness and hasten the coming of the Messiah. However, despite my long emails, Rabbi chose to ignore what I was saying. This is all connected to the Antichrist false Messiah, and Rabbi Mizrahi has become one of his priests on earth.
There's no mistakes, everything is supervised. The problem is that when people did not know there is reincarnations, then they ask millions of questions. Where is the justice? What's going on? Why this kid is rich? Why this one is poor? Why he's smart? This one is foolish? What's happening here? After we started to learn more and more about reincarnation, about Gilgulim, then it's obvious, without any slice of a doubt, that everything that happens to us is a continuation of what we had in our previous lives. Not only that, today, it takes 5-10 minutes to prove it. A person goes to a parapsychologist, a Jew or a non-Jew, doesn't matter, doesn't have to be even religious. And he hypnotizes the person somehow loses conscious, and they film it, and they ask him, who are you, what's your name, and he gives a different name. What year you live in, he gives a different year. You can say 1870. Where do you live? Paris. Speaks to you in French. You have to bring an interpreter. What is he saying? And now when this person comes back to life, what's happening? Come see yourself speaking French. So what am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. You've been talking to me 15 minutes under this hypnosis influence, and I don't even understand what I'm saying.
This is no proof that reincarnation happens. What actually happens is that there are entities in the unseen realm. We can't see them. They know us very well. There's entities that some refer to them as jinns. They are supernatural creatures. In some traditions, people incorrectly refer to them as spirits or people who have passed away. This is totally wrong. At times, even demonic entities. But these entities have been created from smokeless fire. They can be good, they can be bad. They're not demonic, they're not all demonic. They can see us, but we can't see them. They can hear us, but we can't hear them. This is due to the frequency level. You can say they are in a parallel universe, and when people are put under hypnosis and you find a Welshman speaking Urdu or an Englishman speaking French, and these people have never spoken such languages, we can clearly say their bodies have been possessed by these entities. This is exactly what the false Messiah will do. You see, he will use these entities as servants, and unfortunately, Rabbi Mizrahi has fallen into the trap of the false Messiah, Dajjal.
With these evil things, and every time I was coming out with voices.
Imagine I'm the mother. I see my daughter suffer.
It was frightening. My first contact with her sent chills throughout my body. And the family reports that they would see her levitating. They would see her being pulled across the room, and there was no one there pulling her.
She possessed knowledge of things and people that no way she should have. She knew where I had been the previous week dealing with another case. She mentioned the person by name, and I found that very astounding and very revealing.
That the devil is real.
Yes, the devil is real. So is the false messiah, Antichrist, Dajjal, the ultimate test for mankind. In order for the Antichrist to return, everything needs to be calm for the illegal entity Zyopig nation. Jerusalem is where the Antichrist will be, and he will later declare himself to be God. Look at the world politics today. They are trying their best to stop all resistance against the illegal entity. Why is Qatar being silenced?
Saudi Arabia is reportedly mulling plans to isolate Qatar from the mainland by digging a canal along its border that would eventually turn the Gulf state into an island. According to the Saudi state media, the construction of the 60-kilometre-long canal will take a year. Several international companies have reportedly been invited to compete for the project with a deadline on Monday. Reports say it could cost Riyadh as much as $750 million.
According to the Zohar, I personally believe this book was influenced by bad jinns, meaning entities from another realm trying to help the Antichrist, false messiah Dajjal. Well, according to this book, it states that resistance must be crushed before the Messiah comes, and this is what Netanyahu follows, the Zohar. And Prince Salman, Mohammed bin Salman, is being heavily influenced by this. The thing about turning Qatar into an island is likely aimed at further isolating Qatar from mainland Greater Israel. Saudi Arabia, along with Bahrain, Egypt, and UAE, they've grown closer to Israel, but not Qatar. Therefore, Qatar must be isolated. The Saudis have even demanded that Qatar shut down its state-funded network Al Jazeera too. Everything right now is in an absolute mess, utter chaos.
A change of tone. The Saudi-led group blockading Qatar appears to be backing down from its demands to shut down the Al Jazeera media network. But what does this mean for the larger dispute